What is up, my friends? Welcome to John Smoltz Day here on Flippin' Bats. We are back in Toronto. The World Series has shifted back here for a game six. The Toronto Blue Jays are up 3-2, recording here on the morning of game six. I'm going to ask John Smoltz all about everything we've seen so far. From my eyes, what we saw in LA is that the Toronto Blue Jays went in and dominated every single facet of the game. I could not have been more impressed with how they looked. Obviously, offensively, the bullpen looked good, starters looked good, but I just thought the way they ran the bases, the way they played defense, their dirt ball reads, and executing everything, they just looked far and away like the better team. So I'm going to ask John Smoltz about what we've seen so far. Trey Yesavage, and maybe most importantly, has John Smoltz ever had a Caesar? Because I've fallen in love with Caesars here in Toronto, and I got to ask him if he's ever had one as well. We got a lot to talk about, a lot still to come. There's maybe only a day left in the Major League Baseball season. It either all ends here today on Friday on Halloween in Toronto, or it will end tomorrow in Toronto in a game seven, which is just going to be awesome. I cannot wait for what we see here over the next couple of days. But without further ado, let's get to him now and welcome in the Hall of Famer, John Smoltz. All right, and I am pumped to be joined, as we are every single week, by the Hall of Famer, John Smoltz. John, we're in the thick of the World Series. We both have made it back to Toronto, games 6 and possibly 7 on deck. How are we doing? How are you hanging in there?
Yeah, this is what it's all about. And of course, I don't know how many people thought we'd be in a game six or possibly game seven, but Toronto has proven they're worthy of the challenge, and they have done everything they needed to do after getting punched in the gut after that 18 inning game. It's pretty remarkable that they're able to win the next two games after that extraordinary game.
Yeah, I think that 18 inning game kind of after it happened, this whole series has felt like in the public eye, it's a matter of time until the Dodgers win this. And then that 18 inning game in game three was kind of like, all right, if the Blue Jays had won that, there would be a chance. And then to come back after that I agree with you, remarkable. How are you hanging in there in that 18 inning game up in the booth?
Yeah, so that's my second one that I get to do in a World Series, and actually did a 19 inning game in the playoffs before. So this one was filled with a little bit more excitement than the others. There was, people wonder why the regular season has the rule they do. It's games like this is the reason.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, players subconsciously all try to end it with a home run. That's why these games can go so long. They're swinging for the fences. I think there was like 15 pop-ups or flyouts at some point in that stretch. But yeah, it was an epic game. There's a lot of defensive plays. The bullpen was unbelievable by both teams. And, somebody was going to have a gut punch. And I didn't think Toronto had the capability of winning the next two games after that. So I gotta tell you, that's pretty unbelievable.
What were your thoughts up in the booth when you saw Yamamoto go down and start warming up to come in potentially in the 17th, 18th, or 19th inning?
I thought it was unbelievable. I
Yeah.
thought he's probably one of five guys that may have ever done that, just from the sake of the way the game is viewed and the way the players are being asked to do things. That was unbelievable. I was intrigued to see it. I'm kind of glad it didn't happen, because then this game would be, maybe not that he wouldn't be able to pitch this game, but maybe the position he's in now to force a game seven, they're in a better place than if they would have had to use him and win that game.
Yeah. With my own two eyes, John, I'm interested in your point of view here, but with my two eyes, what I saw is a Toronto Blue Jays team that went into LA and dominated the Dodgers in pretty much every single facet of the game. And you lose an 18 inning game, Shohei kind of takes over there and ties it up late, hits a homer early, gets on base 9 times. But from there on, and even in that game, they played well. They dominated the Dodgers. I feel like in every single facet, they looked like the better team.
They definitely look like the better team. I don't think a lot of people thought that could be possible. I guess when you look at the future Hall of Famers and the payroll and everything that the Dodgers had done coming into this series, you could understand why people might feel that they're going to roll and win their back-to-back World Series. Now, don't get me wrong, they still got a chance to do that. But up until this point, every facet that you've covered, I think Toronto has been the better version of the World Series team. So that's why they're up 3-2. They're remarkable. They're loose. They're relentless. The Dodgers just haven't hit, and they haven't hit all postseason, really. They've covered it with their starting pitching. And when they faced a team that was much better offensively than they are, that's why they're in this position. They hadn't come up against this yet, and they're going to find out real quick, as they did a year ago when they were down 2-1 to San Diego. Can they muster up? I think they outscored San Diego 10-0 in those 2 games. Can they muster up that kind of offense now with 2 games to go?
A Hall of Fame pitcher. I have to ask you about what we're seeing from Trey Yesavage. John, he was in college last year. He was in single A to start the year. He's got more starts in the postseason than he does in his career. What have you seen from the booth for this kid, Trey Yesavage, and what we're seeing from him on the mound?
Well, when he's mechanically sound and he can do his thing and impose his will, he's done it incredibly well. I thought he would make the adjustments with his split. There's no doubt. I hadn't seen a film of his starts where 2 straight starts he didn't have his split. So that was a good sign to have if you're a Toronto Blue Jay fan and a player. So he came out. It's nice to get the 2-run lead, but he established his fastball and he threw a perfect game. He literally threw a perfect game with one mistake to Kike Hernandez. And look, his manager let him have a moment. That's what I was most excited about, because in the past, even John Schneider said, I've learned from my past mistakes, taking out Jose Barrios when in Minnesota a couple years ago when he had 4 1/3, no hits. I think that was an example of using your eyes and letting your eyes determine that no pitch count, nothing else was going to matter, no plan before the game started. This was an absolute man on the mound, having a moment, and I loved it.
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, John. Now it seems maybe a reality that we get Shohei Ohtani in some form or fashion in this series, perhaps out of the bullpen, perhaps in the outfield. It feels like we might get it here.
Well, you know what? This is the point now where everything you have been doing, you get ready for. I could see this for sure happening in Game 7, but if Shohei's teammates don't give him some help,
yeah,
I just don't know what anybody can expect the Dodgers to do. They've got to get the middle and the front part of their lineup. They've got to get on base. And I've said this before, in a 162 season, you can see Shohei batting leadoff. But in the postseason, I think I saw a stat on the year he came up with runners in scoring position like less than 30%. So just think about that. So in a best of 7, how many times has he come up with a runner in scoring position? It's virtually none. It's hard to do. So they have to get some runners on. I wish in a perfect world he could bat third and then see what the Blue Jays are going to do. You're going to walk them before they face Freddie Freeman, stuff like that. So I don't know that Dave Roberts will do anything that extreme, but he just flat out, they got to get some hits.
We're recording Friday morning before we know what's going to happen in Game 6. Obviously, if there's going to be a Game 7, is it too late? Shohei's hit leadoff all year long and throughout the playoffs. Is it too late to make a move here? Is there a world in which we should see him move down in the lineup for a Game 6?
Honestly, I think he should move down in the lineup, but I think the world is so set in a way that would cause shockwaves through the team and through the universe of writers. But at this point, I know you trust your players, and I guess you got to do just that and trust that they're going to wake up at the right time. And I think the Dodgers, they will score some runs, but they got to score enough to make it matter, because they've seen an offense on the other side be pretty consistent.
Yeah. Well, John, before I let you go, I got to ask you, I have never been to Toronto. I've loved it here. I've fallen in love with a drink called a Caesar. Have you ever had a Caesar?
No. Where to get it?
You get it you get it everywhere. It's the Canadian national drink. It's a Bloody Mary, but it's not. Actually, I take that back. It's not a Bloody Mary, but it's with Clamato juice instead of tomato juice. and they use like celery salt on it. You have to get one. It's incredible. I've fallen in love.
Well, this city's going to be electric. It's going to be the loudest place you've ever heard, and I just can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, me too. I'm pumped. John, thank you as always, my friend. I'll probably see you over at the stadium here in a little while, but always appreciate the time, my friend.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
All right, just wanted to thank John for joining us here on the show, as he does every single week. No matter whether it's Game 6, morning of Game 6 of the World Series, whether he just traveled back to Toronto, I really, truly always appreciate it. And what I thought was interesting is hearing him talk about John Schneider and letting Trey Yesavage have his moment, and where he learned from, recent playoff experience taking out Barrios and how he's grown as a manager. And I think you can see it. I think you can see it from Dave Roberts. I think you can see it from John Schneider. And now here we are. The Toronto Blue Jays are one win away from winning the World Series. Appreciate you all for watching and listening. Please check us out on our YouTube channel, Flippin' Bats Pod there. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe. All that really does help. Wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, check it out there. And at Flippin' Bats on all social media. Game 6 of the World Series is coming up. We're going to have a big episode following the final game of the World Series, talking to players, doing an episode from the field of Rogers Center. This has been awesome. I hope you all enjoy this and having Smoltz on as much as I do. Appreciate you all. Enjoy Game 6 and potentially Game 7 of the World Series. It's all almost done. Until next time, my friends, find your bat and flip it.